they are lying to you. Yes, they're absolutely 100% lying to you. And I'm going to prove it in this training. Okay. So who's they? Who's lying to you? Well, it's the online media. They're lying to you because they're typically pretty misinformed Reddit users, right? People that are on Reddit that are misinformed and have absolutely no clue or experience in the trucking, logistics, or freight industry. And then, believe it or not, the other big group that's lying to you and is perpetuating these lies is big brokers. Other big brokers are lying to you. And here's the reason why, because they're trying to protect their own turf. They're trying to protect the golden goose. They don't want more competition, okay? So that's who's perpetuating these lies. And again, I'm going to share with you 5 of the biggest lies about becoming a freight broker. So that's what I'm going to share with you today. So I want you to lean in. But here's the good news. If you stick around to the end, I'm going to give you my cheat sheet, right? This is a cheat sheet where you can download all the details about this training. You don't have to write furiously and take notes. Let's dive into number 1. Freight brokers won't be around in 10 years. They're going to go extinct. All the freight brokers are going out of business. And that is a huge crock of, what? It's BS. Yes, technology is enhancing what's going on for shippers, carriers, and brokers. Technology, it's a force that changes every industry. But the fact of the matter is, it's not putting brokers out of business. It's actually enhancing the services and the offering and the profitability of brokers. When I first started in freight brokerage back in 2003, technology was lousy. The TMSs were lousy. The internet wasn't even that great, to be extremely honest with you. So as time has evolved, and that's the reason why I built my own software back then. If I did it today, I wouldn't, because there's a lot of great software out there that's technologically enhanced, advanced. It has all these cool features, including AI and other features built into it to make your job as a freight broker or freight agent easier. But the fact of the matter is, if you put your head in the sand and you try to operate off antiquated technology or from an Excel spreadsheet or a Google sheet, yeah, you're going to struggle. So that whole freight brokers will be out of business in 10 years is a crock. All right. Digital freight brokers are nothing more than freight brokers that leverage and enhance good technology. And that's the proliferation of technology has really made it easier for brokers to join and become successful in this business. Okay. Number 2, you need $100,000 plus in cash in order to start a freight brokerage. Wrong. 100% wrong. I hear this all the time. Matter of fact, I heard this back in 2003 when I first started. And the fact of the matter is, you don't need a lot of cash to start and become a freight broker. Here, for example, I did a recent poll a few months ago, and I think we had about 273 different freight brokers, right? Freight broker startups and people that started a freight brokerage go through this poll. And the poll was estimating how much their startup cost was. And 66% of the people that took that poll started their freight brokerage for under $5,000 total. Okay? Under $5,000. They didn't have to put their house up. They didn't have to sell their favorite car. Okay. The fact is they did it for all under $5,000. Now you can spend more, but you don't need to spend more. All right. Getting your freight broker bond, applying for your freight broker license, setting up some basic load boards. I mean, the cost of freight brokerage is not that much, so especially when you compare it to a traditional business. Go try to start a pizza shop. Go try to start a franchise. Go try to start another business like a software business. You'll be investing tens, if not hundreds of thousands or more just to open the doors. Okay. So no, the other part of this is this, as far as cash flow, one of the greatest parts about becoming a freight broker startup is you can use factoring. Okay. Factoring is financing that allows you to pay the carriers before you get paid by your shippers. And I'm not going to go down into a deep rabbit hole, but the fact of the matter is freight brokers, have access to capital, other people's money. It's called OPM, right? Yeah. And of course there's a cost to it, but the fact is it provides cash flow, and cash flow is like oxygen. And so that's what new freight brokers do in many cases if they don't have any sort of financial backing. And it's a very viable way to start your business. Okay. Number 3, you need A++ credit in order to become a freight broker? Wrong. Yes, of course. The better your credit is, the easier and cheaper it is to become a freight broker. And here's the main place that credit falls into and factor, okay, as a big factor. And that is getting your freight broker surety bond, okay? Now, every licensed freight broker, now this doesn't count for freight agents, but every licensed freight broker is required to get a $75,000 freight broker bond. But don't let that scare you, okay? It sounds very daunting. You don't have to put up $75,000. You don't have to have $75,000. It's a bond. It's kind of like an insurance policy where you pay an annual premium. Now, those premiums range from anywhere from maybe $1,000 a year up to $7,000 or $8,000 or even $10,000 a year if you have really bad credit. The better your credit is, the lower the cost is. That's basically the ratio. So if you have 700 credit or 800 credit, you're going to have a much lower bond cost than someone that has $500 credit. But the fact of the matter is, even if you have average or below average credit, you can still get a bond and get started. And then as your credit improves, your bond cost will go down, okay? So number 4, freight brokers don't hire inexperienced freight agents that don't have a book of business. This one drives me absolutely crazy because if you want to be an agent, okay, a freight agent, the fact is you will need to partner with a licensed freight broker. So you have 2 options. You can get your own freight broker authority and you can go out on your own, or you can take the least cost and the least complex way and start as a freight agent, and you'll be earning anywhere from between 50 and 70% of all the profits that you generate working under another freight broker. But a lot of people say, well, other freight brokers, they only hire if you have a book of business, if you have existing customers, if you've got a lot of experience, and that's totally not true. Here's where it is true. If you go to the top 10 or 20 freight brokers out there that have an agent program, a lot of the other big companies out there that have been doing agent business model for decades, right? Yes. Most of them are going to require you to have experience and a book of business, okay? That's a fact. But the fact is there are thousands of small and medium-sized brokers out there that would absolutely die to have a straight commission freight agent that works independently from home and is only paid based upon what they perform. There are tons of companies out there that will hire new agents, right? Especially if you've went through some sort of training like Freight Broker Bootcamp or my Freight Broker Sales Accelerator, right? If you have those types of credentials, it makes it that much easier. So much so that I put together a job board, right, for my students and for anybody in my community that wanted to hire freight agents. So you could check that out. Again, freightbrokerbootcamp.com/jobs. That's the best place where you can check that out. But again, you do not have to have a book of business in order to become a freight agent, to start a freight agency. And number 5, drum roll, please. Listen, this is the big one, okay? And this one drives me crazy. You need sales experience in order to become a successful freight broker. And wrong. Absolutely wrong. As a matter of fact, I'm going to challenge that because I have had students come into my program who have had sales experience and they struggled more than people that were newer. Now, why would that be? Because they've developed a lot of bad habits over the years and it's very hard to break them of those bad habits. Sometimes it's better to have a clean slate and learn everything from scratch, and it just works better. I mean, that's just a reality. So I'm not saying that having experience is a negative, but sometimes people have developed a lot of bad habits. So I prefer students who don't have a lot of experience. Take my Freight Broker Bootcamp, take my Freight Broker Sales Accelerator. So let me talk about that for 1 second. My Freight Broker Sales Accelerator is a 5-week coaching program where I take that piece of my brain and I transplant it into your head. Again, these are my favorite freight broker sales strategies, tactics, tools, my entire freight broker sales system. Okay, that allowed me to do over $200 million as a freight broker. Now, it's sold out right now, you can't get enrolled, but I will be opening it in the near future. And if you want to get on the wait list, all you have to do is go to freightbrokerbootcamp.com/wait list. It's free to get on the wait list. The program is not free. The program is not cheap. But the fact of the matter is you'll be notified when I launch this program. And if you're not on the list, you won't get notified. You won't have an opportunity to be on the program, okay? So the bottom line is this. You do not have to have sales experience in order to become a freight broker or a freight agent. What you need is to invest in some sort of training or coaching that will teach you the fundamentals of how to do cold calling, how to do cold email, how to stand out from the crowd, how to do follow-up, how to overcome objections, right? How to retain customers, how to get referrals, all of the things that are involved with sales, plus the other 100 plus things that you can do in order to get customers, to get shippers as a freight broker. Okay. So again, if you want to get on the wait list, check out freightbrokerbootcamp.com/wait list. Okay. So those are my 5 biggest lies about becoming a freight broker. But what I want you to understand is don't believe the hype. The fact is, a lot of these lies are perpetuated by big brokers and other brokers in the industry because they're trying to protect the golden goose. There's a huge opportunity in the freight and logistics industry for those that want to grab a hold of it. If you're curious about becoming a freight broker or a freight agent and you're just looking to get started, maybe you've been on TikTok or YouTube or LinkedIn and you're seeing all these different content and you're looking for a roadmap, you're looking for a coach, you're looking for a blueprint, check out freightbrokerbootcamp.com. Again, we've trained over 10,000 students. I've had that program for well over a decade. I've personally done over $200 million as a freight broker, and we offer a 60-day, 100% unconditional money-back guarantee. So you have zero risk, okay? You can check that out at freightbrokerbootcamp.com. Listen, appreciate you guys being here. Hit the like button. If this is something that you enjoyed, you'd like me to do more trainings in the future, make sure you hit the like button. Hit me up with any questions in the comments below and share with your friends. Truly appreciate it. And we'll see you next week on the next Freight Broker Bootcamp Live.